very excited about another opportunity. I want to encourage all our fans who were so outstanding at our last ball game here 2 weeks ago. I want to encourage all of them to kind of continue where they left off and making this environment just an incredible environment for our young guys to play ball in, and just an incredible experience for anyone that came to the game. So I want to encourage them to come back at 11 o'clock in the morning Saturday morning, because this is going to be a great game. And you know, I know that you know, on the outside looking in, Arkansas hasn't done exactly what they wanted to do and what their expectations were at the beginning of the season, but it's still a very, very good football team that's very dangerous. And I feel like, after spending the last couple of days really watching them, and it's very glaring that they've got some very good football players on their team, and I think that's why they were ranked where they were at the beginning of the year, and so they're very dangerous. I think that they're there's some explosive plays and some turnovers that if that doesn't occur with this football team, I think it's a much different story in terms of their results. So they're very dangerous. Anytime you have a quarterback that's extremely productive, extremely confident, and has as much experience as their guy has, I think that it's always challenging. So again, on paper, doesn't necessarily look like what it looks like on film, because they do. They've got some very dangerous players on their football team. So it's going to be a great SEC West matchup. We need to go back out there Saturday and play passionate and intense, and hopefully play better than we did last time we were out at Jordan-Hare. So that's our goal, and we'll continue to work on that today.
Questions?
How important is this month of October where you get some key games?
Very, very important. I mean, this, with our schedules in this league, as we all know, that, every month is an important month. There's no question about it. We've got a couple of, obviously we have this 11 o'clock game this week here at home, and then we've got a couple of very tough road games that we got to go play. And every game is extremely valuable. And one isn't necessarily more important than the other right now. Our intent is to continue to improve and win one game at a time, and that's what we're focused on. But this month's going to be a taxing month, but really and truly, what month isn't?
Coach, you talk about wanting to improve each and every week now that we're heading into Game 5. Is this a better Auburn team than it was at the start of the season?
I think so. I think it is. I think that, again, I think we've played some very quality opponents. I think that's been proven over the last month that we've played some opponents that have all in their own right and in their own different ways have had a lot of success. Every one of them. And so it'll be really interesting to see just how far we've moved since the last time we played. But practices have been very sharp and been very precise and very energetic. I think we've got a hungry football team that wants to win. I don't think there's any question with that. They've never taken a step back in terms of how they've worked, which doesn't surprise me. We just got to go out there and we got to get a win.
How easy is it to ignore the pressure of beating Arkansas?
There's pressure in beating everybody that we play, so that's really not. We know the urgency and the importance of winning, every game that we play. In college football, as a player and a coach, you got to have a very short memory, both winning and losing, and you got to move on to the next thing. So I think our guys understand that. Our guys that have been with us for a few years, we've experienced a lot of great things, and we've experienced some disappointments. That's the journey that we're on. That's the journey that we've taken. So there will be more great experiences, and there'll be some disappointments along the way too. That's part of growing up. That's part of the journey that we're on. But our expectation to go into every game is to win, and the pressure is no different in this game than any of the previous four.
You talk about Colin Wilson, the success that he's had, especially against you guys coming off the bench 2 years ago, and then obviously last year in Fayetteville.
He's an impressive young man. I mean, he's an impressive young man, and one of the things that I thought about him 2 years ago when he came into the game. I just thought that when you look at a quarterback and, you know, you say, okay, what are the intangibles of a quarterback that you look for, you know, at that position in a young man, and that is the competitive nature of that guy. He's got it. I mean, I feel like, you know, you just the way he carries himself, the way he talks, and then ultimately how he plays on the field. So he's very competitive, and you know, he's one of those guys that, man, every week you're going to get a battle from him. It doesn't matter what the circumstances are. It doesn't matter what's going on around him. I know that his teammates know he's ready to go fight another day, and that's very obvious with him. Very impressive young man. Everything that he was built up to be preseason, he still is. And again, I know things haven't gone exactly the way they envisioned them going, but that hasn't changed him as a quality, you know, and his qualities as a quarterback.
Even with the off-season upheaval over there, nobody had them 1-4 at this point in the season. As you've gotten into your film study and preparing for them, what have you seen that specifically led to their downfall for the first 5 games?
Well, I mentioned it earlier. I think they're leaving things on the field. I think that when you look at explosive plays, both offensively and defensively, you know, they're giving up, you know, more explosive plays, I'm sure, than they would like, and then the turnovers. I mean, I think that, again, if there's less explosive plays and the turnovers aren't what they are, I think you're looking at a completely different football team in terms of, you know, being in games and winning games. So I feel like they're probably feeling a little bit like we are right now. We've left some of those things out on the field that we've got to improve on. And so, you know, those are two things that are glaring to me.
We talked a lot about Kyle and him growing up and improving, but how big a week is this for the receivers without Quan to grow up a little bit, to step up?
They've got to grow up. They've got to step up. They've got to play better. It's that simple. They got to play better. If the ball hits them in the hands, they got to catch the ball. We haven't done that every time. When we ask the route to be at 15 yards, it needs to be at 15 and not 12. Haven't done that all the time. So that whole group of receivers from top to bottom, whether it doesn't matter who's playing in the game, they've got to improve their game. They got to step it up, and they got to be productive.